Welcome to Xtreme One to Watch. I am Destiny Crane here with my mother, Dana Burnshaw, and my sister, Tegan Peck. We are 5th and 6th generation Burns family members. We look forward to having you join us on our Xtreme One to Watch podcast, where we are going to share inspirational stories from great barrel racers in our industry.
Yes, and what a wonderful treat it is today to be able to speak with Ann-Marie Fenner, and she's here from Lovelock, Nevada. What a wonderful mom she is. We have watched her for the last several years, probably 5. I don't know how old your daughters were when they started running here, but they were probably under...
like 4 years ago.
Yes, 4 years ago, but what a treat it's been. You're going to love her story and all of the things. She's such a great patron to Xtreme, but also one of the most inspiring moms out there. And it's really exciting because now Mom gets back in the saddle, so we've got a lot of things to talk about with Ann-Marie today, and welcome, welcome.
Thank you. That's super nice of you to say. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about your children.
So I have 4. Rhea's 11. So the girls' birthdays are in December. So she's almost 12. Rory's 9 and almost 10. Roan is 7, and Riot is almost, next month she'll be 4. And they are just beasts. And Rhea has the, I don't know, the beauty and the gift of being first. Like, she's been the one that has kind of driven things. And then, I don't know, they're all super competitive. They love each other and fight just as passionately with each other. And Riot, we keep saying, is as much as we think the other ones are fierce, she's the one that's going to be stealing their horses and like, can I borrow your college rodeo horse and go win a junior rodeo or something? It's just, we have no idea what's in store with her. It's going to be crazy.
Oh, she's adorable. I remember from just when she was a baby and just watching her grow, and oh, she's just, yes, she is fierce.
She is. I should have named her, I always joke, like Quiet Lily or something like that, not Riot, because she definitely lives up to her name.
Yeah. Isn't it, so how did you get started in barrel racing, Ann-Marie?
I junior high and high school rodeoed, but I roped more. I didn't... I tell Chad, I joke now, my husband Chad, I say I don't even feel like I rode before in my life or did anything, because the things we know now that I had no idea about before. But I high school rodeoed for a little bit and ran our club at in our county and everything. And so that was kind of my introduction. We always had horses growing up, but weren't competitive until I started gymkhana and rodeoing. And then, like I said, the roping was my thing. And I was just never fast enough to be a barrel racer, and it wasn't really my fun thing to do. But the kids love it, and learning about it through them and watching them has made me love it, and it's just been a cool journey.
That's great. How did you meet your husband?
He showed up on my doorstep the day after my 18th birthday. And I always joke that he used to wear cargo pants and he looked like an EMT, and I was like, it's like I opened the door and there was this just handsome EMT looking guy standing at my door. I was at college at the University of Nevada, Reno, and my roommate in the dorms was an engineering major, and they had this semester-long project that they had to invent this thing. And so he was in our dorm room every day for the entire semester. And we became this big group of friends, and we all went out and did everything, and then they all kind of scattered, and we just never scattered. Like, we knew from, I think 8 days in, we joke, we knew we were together forever, and we had just been waiting our whole lives to meet each other, and it was easy.
You're such a dynamic duo. I just have to say, I mean, it's really hard to come to these events and have 4 kids and young children involved in this and get them all ready and everything. And then they're always on point. You make so many remarkable outfits for all of the kids. I mean, where do you find the time? What does your day look like, Ann-Marie?
Well, I don't even know. We have a routine. Our family loves routine, so that's the biggest thing. But we homeschool our kids, and so we wake up and we do school in the majority of the morning, and then we can ride and do all of our chores and that kind of stuff in the afternoons. But usually it looks like I'm at the sewing machine, and I have 2 or 3 kids sitting on the floor next to me as we're doing lessons, and I'm just sewing and we're talking, or we're doing something else that we have to get done, or we're outside and they have their laptops, or we're driving a horse to the vet and they're hooked up to my phone on there. It's always something, and it's that I don't know how we would do it. We've been homeschooling for over 2.5 years now, and I don't know how we would do it if we didn't, because we're able to have that flexibility. But I don't know. I joke that I skid into bed every night and I just like pass out in bed and then wake up and do it again. And I don't know. I wouldn't have it any other way.
So you homeschooled before the pandemic?
Yes. And
So
if there was ever a reinforcement that we made the right decision, it happened 1.5 years in. I remember the first 6 months of homeschooling, I told Chad, I was like, I'm not going to make it. This is not okay. Like, this is hard. And then we found a better school program, and that was the key to it. Once we found the right program that the kids liked, and it was so much easier.
Which program is that to share with the audience?
We use Time for Learning. And like Riot does ABC Mouse because she's still in preschool, and that's perfect for her because it's right at her level and it's fun. And they ask now, like, can I just do school? Can I just work on school? I'm like, heck, go for it. And so the girls' goal is to finish this grade by December. We'll see. Rory did it a couple years ago. She did 2 school years in a year.
Wow.
And I like it because like they are more advanced in math, but like Rory is dyslexic. And so she has struggled big time reading. And I feel like if she was in traditional school, she would have been left behind. And Rory's so fierce about things, I feel like she would have been a troublemaker so that she wouldn't have to read in school and do that stuff. So it's been really good to be able to tailor, like, hey, you're 2 grades ahead in math, do that. Let's work on your fundamentals of reading and get those holes filled in. And I like the flexibility of it.
Well, I like that, and play to their strengths and get them stronger in what they're really good at, and not just focus on what they're not, but just be able to advance and go at their own pace.
And self-esteem wise too, they're not sitting there bored because they want to do more in math, but then struggling and feeling insecure because they're not at the same level as their peers or things like that, so they can play off their strengths. And
how do you work with the social aspect? I know that there's 4 of them and you go to the barrel races and what's the downside to homeschool in your opinion, Ann-Marie?
For us, we don't have one. Like, people have said, well, do your kids interact? And I say, our kids have friends all over the country. They have friends, every age group, adults. They can walk up to anybody and talk to them. They can hold conversations. I feel like it allows them to actually be more social because we can go and do things. And we have amazing rodeo barrel racing family all over the country, like literally every state. If we needed something, or we've had people just stop at our house. And so we just stop and we get to visit. And so I don't feel like it's a downside at all. It helps them be more social. And I look at like their peers, like our kids don't have phones. They don't have any of that. And from the kids that Rhea mostly went to school with, I look at them now, they're still in school and they're amazing kids that are her friends, but they're on their phones and their parents are talking about the issues that they're having and exposure to the world and social media and all of that, and we don't have that. Like the
no
kids,
time for that.
There is no time.
There is no time for that.
If there was time for it, I don't know that we've always joked, and we're not really joking about this, that if it was serious enough that whoever they were talking to would get a CB radio and they could just talk to each other over that. Like, there's no need for a phone or anything like that. If it's that important, they will have one as well, and you guys can have your own handles and sit in the kitchen and talk to each other.
That's truly amazing, to your point, that in this era that you can raise kids without them and look at the success that your children have had. So let's talk a little bit about that. What are some of the highlights of their young careers at such young ages? What have they been able to accomplish? I mean,
it's crazy. So we just got a new horse trailer, and I wanted to put the kids' names and their accomplishments on the side. And I started like, well, what is trailer worthy? Like, what's worthy enough to vinyl on the side of the trailer? And it's difficult because I look at their resume and I keep a spreadsheet of their earnings and all of that, and we set goals. And I'm amazed at my kids. Like, I am beyond proud to be their mom. And the stuff that they do, people. The stuff that they do, like, I didn't even know it was possible, let alone at 9 and 11 years old. Like, I mean, Rory is, she took her barrel horse and finished 4th in the world in poles at Little Britches finals. Like, in poles, like this horse that's never ran poles, she took the time and patterned him and is running low 20-second runs in it. And just their tenacity and determination, like those titles and the saddles and all of that are super cool. But the character traits that my kids are learning and have developed, God, like they're going to be unstoppable in this world. And whoever they decide to partner up with in life, they better be ready for a wild ride because they're not going to make it. And like just the championships, the titles have come to mean more to us. Like I have a trophy wall. I mean, we have buckle cases that are full of buckles, and we have saddles, and we have some people that say, well, what are you going to do with another saddle? And that's not the point. It's the trophy, it's the title. They've worked hard for those, and I don't know, we joke we'll build an extra room in our house if we have to, because I'm massively proud of them. And I'm proud of them with their attitudes that, you know, there's some days and they're 9 and 11 and it seems like once we get something figured out, we hit a new bump and we are dealing with a new emotional crisis or something. But we have a ritual. They'll probably be mad at me for saying this, but we have a candle that we do every time before any race, rodeo, or anything like that. And we have a mantra that is quick, clean, efficient, fun. And so we all gather around the candle and we like shout it at the top of our lungs and blow out the candle. And it is just a way for us to start positive and have that in our heads of, you know, yes, quick and clean, but it's got to be fun. Yes. And to have that fun and have that great attitude. And that has been the biggest thing for us, is setting that intention of the attitude has changed their performance. And so that's like one thing. So my background is school counseling and education and all of that, and I know how important attitude is, and we all struggle with it, but if we kind of have that reset with each other, that we tell each other that, and it kind of helps sometimes snap us out of it if we're having a rough day. And I don't know, I'm crazy proud of my kids. Oh.
We always hear you have fun when they run out to the top of your lungs. It's just so fun to hear that.
Well, if Rory, we've figured out, like, you know, we probably Chad has a spreadsheet on it, because he has a spreadsheet on everything. But the bigger she smiles, the faster she runs. So that's been have fun. It doesn't mean anything if it's not fun. If it's not fun, then we're not doing it anymore.
What great guidance for the folks at home that are bringing up kids in this very competitive sport. I mean, your girls compete at the top level in a the Xtreme Million is $1,500 entry fees. And that's a lot of pressure on a 9-year-old, an 8-year-old the year before. So how do you get them to have the right mindset to be able to compete at those high levels at such a young age?
I think they have the gift of not really knowing how much stuff costs. Like I know how much that run costs, but at the same time, it can't be about that. Like what we've said is every time we go to a barrel race, it's like us paying for Disneyland. We're paying for the experience. If something comes out of it, great. If it doesn't, we were there for the experience. And some days, like, you know, I'm scraping. We have like a change jar in our bathroom that we put like time only money and stuff like that. Sometimes I'm scraping that to find entry fees, or I'm being creative, or I'm having to sell things that I make or something to make entry fees. And I will do that all day long for them to have the experience. And so they kind of have that gift of not really knowing how much stuff costs. They know, they're smart kids. They can see the flyers, they can add it up, they ask. But we always just say we're here for the experience. Anything else is bonus. And so that's just kind of how we've operated with them.
Well, and they both got to hold up big checks.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, the big checks in
Won a
that
saddle
type
in
of
June as well,
right.
too, with Rhea.
Yeah.
Well, and we set goals at the beginning of each year, and this is the first year that they've set a monetary goal. Usually it's like, I want to win this title, I want to win this saddle. This year they set goals, and like Rory said, I want to win $20,000. She's going to reach her goal. Like on one horse, on Bucky, she wanted to win that. And she's reached her goal between her 2 horses, but she's almost there on Bucky. And Rhea said the same thing. And then they also had their world titles and stuff. So it's been interesting to see how things have shifted. And their whole point of that was that they wanted to be able to enter more. They wanted to have that milestone for them and their horses. But we have a bank account that's just the Rodeo Barrel Race Fund. So anything they win goes into there. And they know that it goes back out into entry fees and that kind of stuff. And as much as I would love to say we have this giant college fund saved up for you, they know that it costs a lot to go down the road. So they're massively happy actually to contribute to that pot to go.
That's a great way to look at it. So massive goals.
Yes.
So tell us the funniest story your family has.
So I asked the girls this question and they just started busting up laughing. And it's not a barrel racing one, but we used to have pigs, big pigs like sows, and Chad was on his horse, and I don't know why. He's riding by, and I decided I should get on the pig, and so like I'm on this pig, and it's just we're all laughing. The kids are on the fence laughing. Chad's riding by, and all of a sudden she takes off, like barrel horse out of a barrel takes off. And of course, there's mud, there are pigs all around. And I'm like, look I'm riding this pig. And all of a sudden she takes off and I just fling off, like somersault, feet overhead, right into the mud like this. Chad is laughing so hard on his horse, he about falls off. And the kids are like falling off the fence everywhere. And I'm just laying in this like pig mud poop. And they're like, that is our most favorite memory of you. I'm like, I need to change this. This is not.
I have to
Pig
top that
riders.
one.
I didn't even know riding pigs was possible.
Apparently it's not.
Fenners,
I got
anything
bucked
is
off the
possible.
pig. I'm like, we ride everything at our house. I don't know.
Yeah, and the girls, they stand up. They're so brave and everything, but do they ride pigs also?
No, we got rid of the pigs because, well, we're gone so much too. We used to have like 125 goats and all that, but we're gone so much to get people. That's the hardest part of going down the road, having people take care of stuff at home. And we have like 6 or 7 amazing people that we rotate through so we don't burn them out. But that is the hardest thing, is leaving. So we've kind of pared down our operation at home so that it's not so hard to take care of. But yeah, Rory trick rides. I mean, they're just fearless. These kids, I don't know. I have images in my head of like Rory's like helicoptered off horses, and she just gets up and like dusts off and gets back on, and I don't know.
Yeah. That's
Crazy.
funny. What a great, funny story. Thanks for sharing that with us.
So now that we've visited about your children a little bit, let's talk about you.
I like talking about them better.
That's why we started there, right? So you have recently, I loved the conversation that we had, got back in the saddle, and something that stuck out to me was be brave. So tell us about you being brave and getting back in the saddle.
It's scary. It's so scary. So literally a week and a half, I was driving home from picking up a horse for a friend. And I was like, I had been talking with Chad about wanting to barrel race, but I was scared because now if I fall off, I hurt. It hurts more than when I was younger. And I don't bounce as easy. And if I break something, like that will shut down our house. So I'm driving and like the kids are in the back doing their schoolwork. And I'm like, my 4-year-old, almost 4-year-old does this. She's brave enough to get on a horse that we tell her is okay. And she wants to run and go, like my 4-year-old. And then I have an 11 and a 9-year-old that go faster than I ever knew was possible. So why am I so scared? And so I'm sitting there like driving and I'm like, be brave, just be brave. And so I called Chad and I was like, I'm gonna be brave. And he's like, good, you're riding tonight. And I was like, I didn't mean tonight. I meant like, I'm thinking about being brave. And he's like, no, you are getting on tonight. So I got on and I was like, okay, I'm gonna put my helmet on. I had bought it months ago because the girls ride in helmets, they go fast enough. And I'm like, I can't be that hypocrite. I'm gonna put it on. And because too, I can handle a broken arm, but if I hit my head and I do something, we can't function as a family. So that'll help me feel brave. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna put this on and I'm just gonna go for it. And so I did my first one in our little home arena and Chad's videoing this whole thing and I was like, oh my God, we went so fast. And Chad just looks at me and like you could tell he doesn't wanna burst my bubble. And I'm like, it was so fast, right? And he was like, He's like, it was really good for you. And I'm like, oh, for me. And he's all, your son goes faster. And I'm like, oh. the blows just keep coming. So I watched the video and I was like, oh, you're right. Okay. But I'm like, okay, that's good. That means that I have a lot of room to grow. But every time I'm like going to that first barrel, I'm saying, be brave, because otherwise it's scary. And I don't know what I'm doing. And I can look at the kids' runs, I can look at other people's runs, and I can tell, if they're open to feedback, I can tell things that they can do to help with time. And I've always known, like, you people are amazing. You're cramming so much stuff in seconds. And I've always known that that's really hard. But then doing it myself, too, is like, Chad's like, what were you thinking between 2 and 3? I'm like, I don't know. There's a third barrel coming. And I was just happy I was still in the saddle. And that was all I had. So now it's like practicing what I preach with the kids and trying to break it down. And it's just going to take time. But I can't get here if I don't take those steps. I can't just jump. So I have to take those steps and do the process. And as long as I work at it, I can be brave and get better at it.
When did you get back on?
Last Wednesday. Not this last Wednesday, the one before.
That's fresh.
Yes. That is fresh.
That's very fresh.
And
you made your debut this weekend as well.
I know. That's why I was like, if there was anywhere that I wanted to be, I wanted to be here. And I told Chad, I was like, I'm going to put fake eyelashes on. I'm going to put my war paint on. And then I was like, I feel like I should practice fake eyelashes before I do this. And I put it on. My birthday was a couple of days ago. I put it on for my birthday. And I was like, this is not okay. I'm going to be in the middle of a run. And it's going to fall in my eyeball. And I'm going to be like going sideways. I'm no fake eyelashes unless I can like stick them to my eyebrows. Then it would be okay. But I'm like, okay, we'll ditch that. But and the girls are like, you got to dress fancy. So they helped me pick everything out. I'm like, okay, we'll just do
look,
this.
You've got your long extension
I know, I had
braid.
to match the girls.
You got to match the girls because you were all decked out.
You dress for battle. And like they feel better when they're dressed fancy. Like one of our biggest things is if they're having a crappy attitude or something, I'm like, I'm going to get you a white shirt and blue jeans. And they're like, no, it's okay. We're good. And they have their power outfit. So I'm like, it works for them. I need all the help I can get, so I will do what makes them happy.
Well, you've made them iconic. I mean, you really have. I remember photos years ago with those two on the fence in their great outfits, and everyone, they stand out from the crowd and they don't care. Mm-hmm. And I love that about them. And you have been such an inspiration to keep them, they're humble, but they're fierce. Mm-hmm. And that's a hard combination in kids, not that they're beating their own drum, but that comes from you, and you've had such great guidance to them. So tell me about your other journe of losing over 100 pounds.
It's been hard.
That's amazing, Ann-Marie.
But worth it. Like, I've always struggled with my weight since I was little. Horrible memories in school from it. And I think that's why I roped more than barrel raced in high school rodeo, because I was not what I thought was the ideal body type for barrel racing. But roping I could do. I could go out there and that was me and my horse really quick, and I could do that. And so I've always struggled, and I had gotten, like when I was a senior in high school, I lost a bunch of weight before I went to college. I did it a really super unhealthy way. I would look myself in the mirror every morning and say, I hate you, I don't love you. And that was the way that I motivated myself. And I did it super unhealthy. Like now I would look back, I'm like, I was probably anorexic. I didn't eat. I would freak out about what I ate. But the result was there. And everybody kept saying, you look amazing, you look amazing. And while I appreciated that, I was doing it super unloving to my body. And that trashed my metabolism. It made it so I was stuck. And like with 4 kids, up and downs of weight. And right before I got pregnant with Roan, I lost a good amount of weight and gained it right back as soon as I was pregnant with him. And then I was just locked. My body was frozen. The flies like me, I'm like smelly like horse chair. My body was frozen. It didn't matter if I didn't eat. It didn't matter what I ate. So I was like, why am I gonna bust my butt and eat super healthy if it doesn't matter? And it was just this awful feeling to feel like I couldn't change my body. And like, I would tell people, like, I'm not sedentary. Like, I am going all day long. I am active, and it doesn't matter. And they don't really believe it until, they see your life and they're like, well, how are you not losing weight? I'd be like, that's a fantastic question. You figure that out, let me know. And so Riot was in the hospital right after she was 2. She was really, really sick. And we took her, I told Chad, I was like, something's wrong. Something is really wrong, and I don't know what, but something felt wrong. So we drove her 100 miles to the big hospital. And they're like, we think that her appendix is burst or something like that. And so they like rushed her in. I knew something, they were like, we're making a bed, we're getting her in. So they do a scan, and they said she has this like mass in her abdomen. And so they go in there to take it out, and the surgeon is supposed to, I guess, encapsulate it before they touch anything like that. Well, she didn't. So she went to go grab it, and it burst in her abdomen. And what it was, I guess, when you're in utero, you have your umbilical cord's connected to your like intestines and bladder and all of that stuff, and it closes off before you're born. Well, hers to her bladder didn't close off. So for 2 years, a little bit of fluid was leaking in there, and it was getting infected. So she had peritonitis, and we were in the hospital for like 2 weeks with her, and it was not good, like ups and downs and so many problems. We almost lost her. And so after that, we met our insurance deductible by a lot. And I had a lap band done right after Rory was born, and it never worked for me. I think it actually kind of froze my body more. It made me sick every day. I couldn't eat before like 11 a.m. I was just sick, and it didn't feel good. So I was like, I'm gonna get it removed. We've met our insurance deductible. I can get it removed. It's free. So I did that, and the surgeon left part of a tube in my abdomen, and it was like bridging, I forget what the fascia is right there. So I had and I knew something was wrong right away, and I kept telling the doctor and going in there, and I had like pus protruding out of this wound, and I'm like, something is wrong. They're like, you're fine, you just need to suck it up. And I said, then transfer me somewhere, because this is not okay. Like, I was at a rodeo with the girls, and I had to wear Spanx to hold a pad on there because it was gushing so much I couldn't function. And I told Chad, I was like, I don't feel okay, like something's wrong. And so he's like, fine, I'll transfer you to wound care. So I walk into wound care, and the doctor was like, you need to go to the ER now. Like, he looked at it, he looked at me, he's all, we are taking you to the ER, you're going now. And I get there, and they're like, you're septic, you're not okay, like, we need to get this out. And so there was a surgeon that stepped up, and he got it out, and it was a long journey. And I have this huge scar, and that's part of this journey that's been frustrating to me. Is I've had 4 C-sections. I've now had this massive trauma to my abdomen where they cut and tried to repair, and it took a long time to heal. And my core strength is not the same that it used to be. And so that was a hard process. But then again, in all of this, I decided I'm going to have weight loss surgery in October. Once I heal up from all of this trauma, I worked with my doctor, and I'm putting me first. And it was super hard because I had to be in the hospital overnight, and I'm like, this is one night for me to take care of me, and I'm gonna make this happen. And so there was no failing for me in that. Like, there was no way that I was gonna take this opportunity and not get the most out of it. So I've lost 130. I want to do at least 150, and I feel like there's no way that I'm not going to get there. It's slowed down some, but oh well. Like, it's still progress. And so now I have the battle of, I have like hangy skin, and Chad just looks at me when I complain about it. And I'm like, I know this is like such different problems, and I should be grateful, and I am grateful for those problems, but it does get frustrating. Like, I want to buy cuter pants with the girls, and I'm probably 4 sizes too bigger than I should be because I have extra. And I was telling Tegan, I was sitting in saddles, and I'm like, it's hard because part of me is pushing up against the front, but it's not an important part. It's just extra skin. So it's not comfortable, but it's me and it's my body. And this has been a really good journey because I can wake up and say, I love you. And it was really hard for me to hate my body after having 4 kids and raising 4 kids. Like, how can I hate this body that grew and nurtured 4 kids? I can't hate it. But I've got to love on it better. And so I don't know.
What a positive way to look at that. I mean, extremely positive. And I mean, it's watching it from just every few barrel races, you know, the drastic change. It was very inspiring to watch your transformation and always being there for your family, but then finding a way to take care of you. And that without you, they You know, you are the glue, Ann-Marie. You know that.
Well, and that was hard, and that was where Chad and I had a lot of conversations. If I'm not happy, this family's not happy. And me being like, all the girls want is me to ride with them. And I did not feel comfortable riding. It would hurt to ride. And now I told Chad I hadn't been on, I got back on in the beginning of August, and I hadn't been on for probably 50 pounds. Like, that's how I measure things in my head now. It's not time, but it was about 50 pounds. And I told him the difference was amazing. Like, and I had lost probably 80 pounds before that point, but I was like, it felt so different. Like, I feel comfortable on a horse again, and I haven't felt comfortable on a horse for probably 25 years. Like, it just feels different, and it's cool. Like, I want to be there with my kids. I want to ride with them. They're going to kick my butt forever, but at least I can go ride with them. And
well, what a great story that you have, and we so appreciate you sharing that with us, because it's not easy. And being the everything, the mom that can, like you are just such a complete mom. Like, you help your kids, you make their clothes, you make sure they're at their top of their level, and then now you've realized how important it is to put yourself into that mix. And we're extremely proud of you, and we're so happy that you've chosen Xtreme Barrel Race to bring. And you travel, how far is it that you usually come to get here?
oh, it's well, I don't know. It's 10 hours. It takes us 10
And that's
hours,
not a
but-
lot for them,
No.
because they go
it's just
they go
10
to
hours.
Texas.
Sometimes it's
and-
longer, you know, if we blow tires and stuff, it messes up our time frame, but
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I
Well,
like it
we've
here.
sure enjoyed, getting to know all your family and just appreciate you all. And yeah, thanks for joining us today and telling us your story.
People are going to love it, because there's so many questions that people have about homeschooling and how that can help them. And in this bio, we'll drop those programs that you mentioned, so that if someone wants to research that can help them as well. And thanks again, and good luck. Always, we look forward to the next run that the Fenners, the Fenner Fab Four,
Yep, they're
soon
one
to
to
be
watch.
5.
we need Chad to do it too.
And Chad, yeah, then we can get them all. Well, Chad was out there doing the walk trot.
Yes, he counts that. So he used to train for when he would lead line the girls. We have a long driveway, like 2,000 feet driveway, and he would run the driveway because him and this other dad had this like other lead line dad were so competitive. So he's like, I got to get in better cardio shape. So he would run the driveway so that he wasn't huffing and puffing, because both girls in 5 events, like it would take it out of him. But he was like, I'm not getting beat.
I love it.
So it's a very competitive family.
I think
Yes.
you took about 6 seconds off of from yesterday to today. I
Well,
noticed
yeah.
that.
Well, part of that was Slim. Slim, like, him and his brother are so funny. If they have Riot on him, they're like, we are not moving. And they like step so small. So we had to tell him beforehand, it's okay. You can go faster. Dad doesn't have to drag you. And he was like, fine. And Riot's, I'll give you a treat. I'm like, that's what did it right there.
Right there, always the treats.
They're funny.
Yeah, way to train. Well, thanks again. It's been such a wonderful, great meeting here, and we look forward to seeing you down the road, and you guys as well.
Yes, we'll see you next time on Xtreme One to Watch.